So there you go. You are live, sir.
Awesome. Well, good afternoon, morning, evening, happy Sunday, Monday, wherever in the world you may be. This is Super Mario Odyssey. This is the start screen. It's very exciting. So I guess we'll go ahead and get started. This is a bit of a longer run. For context, I have about 10, 15 hours of trying this run, so this is very much a beginner route. I think there's still some really cool stuff in it. And if you've played this game casually, hopefully it'll still be interesting. And if you've never played it before, I don't know, maybe it'll look really cool. We'll see. So I'll go ahead and start my timer, which has a bit of a delay on it, and this will kind of help me keep time. And so we'll go in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, start.
So you want to say that, first of all, I don't know anything about this game. We just agreed that I could do commentary like 10 seconds ago.
Yeah, so in the instance of speed, right? So everything, I'm going to skip all of the cutscenes. There's a lot of cutscenes in this game. So we've already skipped the entire plot and premise of this game, which in the initial cutscene, we see that our classic antagonist, Bowser, is off to nefarious deeds as usual. He's kidnapped Princess Peach, and we've landed in this kingdom, basically. And so, by the way, when my voice starts getting all weird like this, this game involves a lot of motion controls, so trying to commentate it is kind of interesting, because I have to constantly shake the controller. So there's going to be a lot of me like, every time you see this like weird bouncing animation, that's me shaking the controller. So yeah, apologies in advance for that. It's going to be kind of interesting.
Yeah, that's okay. It doesn't sound cringy at all. It's actually
not at all. So Bowser has kidnapped Princess Peach. We've landed here. We're not really sure where we are. We've met this weird hat thing who's some sort of like hat ghost, but likes to like merge with our head and become one with us. I can show off some of the tech. So we've got basic Mario movement. We've got a long jump. Exclusive to Odyssey is like the cap throw and the cappy interactions. We can capture various things throughout the game, albeit we don't really capture a whole lot in the speedrun. There's a lot more interesting stuff you can do kind of in a casual playthrough. Again, motion controls for this guy makes the froggy jump really high. So that's kind of a thing. This is called the Cap Kingdom, and like I said, it's where we get Cappy. Cappy is the name of the hat. Someone in chat, if they can try to keep track of how many times I bonk, which is like a normal looking Mario bonk. He just goes like, oh. And I'm going to do $10 for every bonk, so since I'm bad at this game, I'm going to be bankrupt by the time it's over. This is Topper. He wears hats. Every time. And it's very hard for someone that's newer to this to time that. If you jump on a hat when he jumps out, you can make this fight a little bit faster. Again, if you've ever played this fight casually, it's probably still quicker than you've normally seen. But yeah, so that was Topper. He's dead now. And I'll try to explain a little more about some of the movement tech as we go, but we're now going to explain to you what game we're playing in case you were curious. So
there you go.
Wait for it. Title. Wait for it. Hey, it's a Super Mario Odyssey. There's a little bit of hat. The music in this game is fantastic, by the way.
Yeah, it sounds like it so far. I have random question number 1.
Go ahead.
Okay, how much of this game, speedrun-wise, is like motion controls that you literally have to do like some kind of motion movement? Because that's kind of like a very weird concept to me, where you're like shaking the controller or something, but...
Some of it, but very little actually requires motion controls. Most of the motion control just makes you go faster. So like, honestly, the vast majority of motion controls is when you're bonking into the ground like I was doing. And you're kind of, if you shake the controller, he does that little yellow bounce. It gives you a tiny speed boost. If you don't shake the controller, you'll get that every third roll, and you can just do that by repeatedly mashing on Y. I'm playing with a Pro controller. The really good runners will play with split controllers like Joy-Cons, because there's some stuff in other parts of the more advanced routes where you actually need to be doing like split control, motion control stuff to get fine-grained enough control. We're not going to do anything nearly that crazy, so not really. Oops, wrong jump.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah. So the bulk of this run is routing, to be completely honest with you. There'll be like 4 or 5, and maybe about a dozen like really swaggy parts where you're like, oh, that's really cool and looks very different than like how it's normally done. But other than that, I'm gonna bonk. Oh, we'll save $10. I like it. Now, this is called Dino Skip, so Dave cheated and already saw a little bit of this, but if I do this right, which I did not, that's not gonna work. Okay, so we have to try to get this dinosaur, take his left foot, and place it on this pad. I don't think it's gonna work either. So we're gonna be here for a while because I'm gonna count these as bonks because I slammed it in the ground. But this part is really
$10
I know, right? This part can be really finicky because if you screw up the first one, there's like a decent setup, but after that, I don't really know how to back it up. Oh, this is good. Okay. So, please get there. Alright, so the whole point of that is you're supposed to go all the way around, and if you played the game, you'll know you need to go, like, up the side and through some 2D side-scrolling aspects. But due to the way that the loading plane for this area works, the dino actually gives you enough height that if you jump out of the dinosaur and then do the right kind of cap throw, you can actually manage to get up here without having to do any of kind of the intended part of this level. So that's called Dino Skip. The actual, like, really competitive routes have Dino Skip Skip, where you skip Dino Skip, using some absolutely, like, crazy movement that's, like, ridiculously precise and takes, like, a really long time to learn how to do. So like I said, this is more of the beginner route. Dino Skip is really easy to do, by the way, if you're kind of a casual player. You literally just step on the trampoline and jump out of it and dive. But it's pretty cool. I think it's
I love the fact it's called Dino Skip Skip, and there's like a skip a skip. Like,
this game has a lot of skips. Because Dino Skip was like the way for a long time. So kind of like I was talking before, a lot of the difficulty from learning this run, honestly, is just memorizing the route. I think there's very little, as far as the beginner route is concerned, there's really nothing that I find personally will take you, like, 10 minutes of failing to figure out. Yeah, as I think Rayo Chat was talking about, the first sub 1 hour run of this game, if you finish this and you have any interest, you should go watch, like, the world record, because the differences between what I'm doing and how the world record is done is absolutely insane.
So when you talk about the route, you're talking about these moon thingies, right?
Yeah, so most any percent routes, maybe all of them, if I'm not mistaken, will collect 124 moons in around 90 minutes. So we get about a moon every 40 seconds or so, and there's a lot of cutscenes. So the sub-hour runs, for context, if you see as this pans behind, I tried to show you, but there's a waterfall behind us that has these bones hanging down. So you do a ton of insane, precise jumping to basically just climb the entire top of that waterfall, and that's kind of part of that route. The other thing that's different in the more advanced route is I went and got that last moon from up on top of that cliff, but the faster route actually has you go underneath the waterfall, and as Mario gets moons, you might notice that he moves upwards. And that actually pushes Mario out of bounds, and as soon as Mario collects the moon, you have like a 2-frame window to do a cap throw and dive. And you actually keep Mario out of bounds, travel underneath the map, and then clip back out later. So there's just like some really weird stuff. For this particular marathon, I learned one out of bounds strat, so hopefully it'll go well, and we can see it. It'll be later in not Lake Kingdom. What is the other watery one called? I don't know. I know things about this game.
You do, dude. Your commentary is great so far. I'm
trying to remember the name of what the other Lake Kingdom is.
No, you memorize all of no. You memorize all of this stuff about out of bounds. All of a sudden, it's like Lake.
Yeah. All right. Well, this is already off to a disaster start. Dave has a bird that he'd like to talk about.
Yes, we know from. Yes, we know from setting up Miri in the preview channel that there is a bird and there was a bird skip, and if you don't do this section very quick, then you miss skipping the bird.
So this whole,
now I'm completely useless from this point forward.
Yeah, this whole level's on a global timer, and you heard it caw right there. But if I was quick enough rolling down that hill, jumping off that umbrella, and diving over here, right when I got to this rooftop, where is it? Oh god. This bird would have been here, and I could have gotten this moon off this bird and then gotten those other two. I missed it again. It's okay. Oh, there's $10. Alright, bonk number 1. That's off to a great start. So that, in my opinion, is like the hardest moon in this section. I really don't like it. But we're done with it. That's great. So easy going from here. Now I do a bunch of rolling so that I sound like this.
So if you were to have gotten that bird thing, how much does it save?
I mean, you saw how long I had to sit there, right? So it prevents me just having to sit there and wait for it to come back. So maybe like 10 seconds would be my guess. So I think this is the first of like swaggy jumps if you haven't played the game much. I like this jump a lot. We're gonna do like a cap throw and dive, backflip, cap throw, dive, and then we're up on top of this pillar. So I have no idea how you're supposed to get up here, but I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's very cool movement. I like stuff like that a lot.
So this is quicksand, but we just jump over it, so we don't really care. Not a big deal. And then we'll keep going. Ah! A glass! Alright, so it's 2. We almost got a third one there for free. Behind me where I just jumped up, there's like a 2D 2D platforming section you're supposed to do. But we just skip it. The wall is not tall enough, you can just kind of jump up over it. The game kind of wants you to take a bullet bill over here, but again, it's not far enough, so you can just jump. So yeah. So now we're gonna head back over here, we're gonna grab a bullet bill, and we're off to the races.
Oh god!
Ooh.
Completely.
So we're gonna go back over here.
No, sorry.
Go ahead. No, I'm just waiting now because I accidentally.
Okay. Okay, so very random question number 2. In this game, clearly the movement is very insane, and I really like that a lot. Is there any section that you're actually forced to do it the intended way?
I mean, a lot of them, so that moon we just got there, that's the intended way. You take that bullet bill and you go over there. Like, there's a lot of them we get the intended way. I didn't realize that the movement in this game was complicated enough that as soon as I started talking over it, it was, like, hard to actually hit any of the targets. That's okay. So we're gonna go this way. There's, like, some really big semi-game-breaking stuff. So, like, the dino skip is the first, like, really game-breaking thing. A lot of the other stuff is that this game really rewards you for being able to do, like, good movement. And we'll actually get to see it here coming up in the next section. There's a whole underwater section that you're supposed to do in the Lake Kingdom. And we're going to kind of take a nice triple jump cap dive and skip a lot of it. And the game, actually Cappy himself is going to come up and be like, whoa, what a cool jump, like, acknowledging that you just swaggily defeated the game logic. So, like, some of the stuff they clearly figured out, like, during playtesting, oh, if you do this carefully enough, you can skip. And they, instead of trying to, like, patch it out or make the walls higher, they're just like, well, if people figure this out, we'll just say something cool. So there's a couple nods to, like, some cool movement.
That is really cool. I like that. Like, good on the developers for not restricting movement. If you're crazy enough to like chain all this stuff together and you can get up somewhere that you're not supposed to get, like that's a very cool design choice, I think.
Alright, that's 3. Or was that 2? I'm not gonna be good at counting. That's 1 more than wherever we were before. Right, here we go. So that one's pretty standard. Now we're going to grab another bullet bill and do, hopefully, kind of, this is like one of the few spots I'm like kind of nervous about, because if you screw this part up, it's rather time consuming. We're gonna clip into a very specific part of this wall. Oh, let's go. Okay, thank God.
There you go.
And there's this small section on that wall where I ran the bullet bill into. It's the only part of that wall that has enough collision for Mario to do a wall jump. And if you do a well-timed wall jump and cap throw, you can actually get up on that platform. You're supposed to beat this entire level before you're able to get up there, but it's a nice quick movement we can get. I've always thought this movement was cool if I get it, because you just kind of go in there and then pop out of the cactus and grab the moon. So this is pretty much it for Desert Kingdom. We're gonna roll up this hill, which involves me, oh my god, shaking the, oh Mario, don't go that way. And then there's gonna be a little mound. And that's that. So that is the last thing that we needed for this particular kingdom. So now we're going to... Oh, so I picked up a checkpoint flag, which is why that text box showed up. But on the off chance that we had not done that, it would have been okay. So you're not supposed to pick up any of the checkpoints because, like I said, it makes that text box pop up and that costs you like a couple seconds of having to mash through. But for marathon safety, I grabbed the checkpoint flag right before I hit that wall and kind of hopped up because, like I said, if you screw that jump up where I got the moon on top of there where the little two treasure chests were. You fall into some purple goo, and the purple goo is an insta-death, and if you didn't pick up the checkpoint, it sends you back to where you first started. Like, you go back to the Odyssey. And so then you have to, like, do a bunch of backup strats to kind of recover, so I just grabbed the checkpoint there. 2 seconds is in a 2-hour-long run for marathon safety is not so bad, so...
No, unacceptable. Completely unacceptable.
It's just like, alright. So this is where we get to see kind of the nod to... It's gonna come quick, so I'll try to point it out. But this is where I think we get to see the really... Oh my god, why... There really are just, like, so many cutscenes, and I haven't memorized where they all are, so, like, I put the controller back in my hand like I'm gonna get to do something, and then I just watch more movies. So this is a quick kingdom. There's some slightly interesting strats here. This one is tricky. It could be done a lot faster than I know how to do it, but that's okay. So we're going to do this, and then we're going to come off this wall, and if you look there, wow, great jump. That's because you're not supposed to do that. So Cappy came up and said, wow, great jump, because you're not really supposed to be up here, which I thought was pretty cool. So we'll grab this moon. We're going to jump into the water, grab 3 moons in the water real quick, and then we're going to go do the boss fight. So this level, other than that one kind of jump at the beginning, we pretty much do completely as it's intended. So these are all moons that you can get without having to do anything funky. So this is one of the most, like, ow, I think that's a bonk. That's 4. Yeah. So we grab that moon. We're gonna go grab this one down here.
So next super random question. The movement in this, I would say, is obviously very similar to Mario 64, but like there's some parallels and shades there too, right? And
yeah, so go ahead.
No, I was just saying Mario 64, I like the movement, but the camera is rough. Is the camera like super controllable here?
Yeah, so anytime you tap R, it completely levels and centers the camera. As well as you have 2D control, or 3D control over it with the R stick, so like I can kind of wiggle it around like that. Alright, I really despise this jump. Alright, we're good. That is like my nemesis. I fall in the water there like so frequently. So this is a weird fight, and there is a really fast strat for this, which is really cool, which I've now failed, so rip. Why are you not... Oh, I'm throwing my hat too close to him. Sorry. If you jump off your hat... What in the world? Well, we're just gonna die here. That's okay. There we go. Now, as soon as the spikes come out of his hat, you can jump up like this, and you skip an entire second phase of this. The fact that I only have 1 health might be problematic. Oh, that was super close. We almost died.
I believe everything is fine.
No!
No! Okay.
That's okay.
Commentators first.
Yeah, I usually take a try or 2 here. It's fine. I think that it also doesn't help that my there's kind of an easier way to do this. You can just backflip on top of him, but this is my least favorite fight in the fight in the whole game, to be completely honest with you. I don't know why it keeps eating my input though. I've been having problems with my controller too. I need to replace it. I've played so much Mario at this point that my left Z or whatever the button is doesn't work particularly well. But we'll try this way one more time. Do I need to be... Maybe I need to be throwing the hat. Whatever. We'll just do it like the intended way.
So did you only get 3 health in this game?
Yeah. It can be a bit rough at times.
Yeah, that's actually a lot lower than I thought it would be.
So, this is looking better. I at least have an extra time to screw this up, so... Alright, there we go. That's how it should have gone the first time. But yeah, you can kill this guy really quickly, but he's one of the more finicky ones, and I don't come to this kingdom super often, so I don't have a ton of practice with him. But yeah, that's Lake Kingdom. So. Next up is Wooded Kingdom, which I think is probably one of the easiest ones. Like a couple small pieces of tech that some people haven't seen before, which is interesting. But then we'll go Wooded Kingdom, yeah, so. The good thing about me constantly screwing things up is you get to see the general intended way for most fights as well, so. Oops. Yeah. Alright, so we've now done Cascade, Desert, and Lake. We're filling our Odyssey back up. I probably should explain why we're doing any of this, to be honest with you.
Yeah, because the story was all skipped.
Right, we skipped all the story. So Bowser has been visiting these kingdoms to take things from them, right? So when we first went to the Desert Kingdom, he was there because deep in the Desert Kingdom is a ring that he wants for his wedding to Peach. Did I mention that he stole Peach because he wants to marry her? That part's kind of important, sorry. So anyways, he's stolen Peach because he wants to marry her, which is really creepy in my opinion, but it is what it is. And so he's going to all these places to get supplies for his wedding, for lack of a better term. So Desert Kingdom, he wants a ring. Lake Kingdom, you'll notice everyone's kind of like dressed up if you saw any of the NPCs. So he went to Lake Kingdom to get a dress. He goes to the Wooded Kingdom to get flowers. And then he goes to the Metro Kingdom to get something else. Basically, most of the places that we get to visit, we're going to kind of chase Bowser off, and we're kind of just chasing behind him. So that rabbit can be really frustrating, so that was nice. I appreciate that he cooperated. There's a moon and this rock, and the intended way you're supposed to do this is to take this rock and like whack it with your hat like a million times, and it's really annoying, but it turns out that if you just cap throw and pick the rock up and like bounce it into another rock, they both just explode. So this is the first area where we're going to see a mechanic where, oh no, I don't want that. You can buy moons. So like Super Mario 64, in the overworld, each area has a fixed number of moons. You can see on one of the title screens like how many you've collected in each area, and every area has one moon that's available for purchase. That's kind of like a part of that set of stuff you're supposed to get. So in this area, I shorted that jump. In this area, we purposefully pick up the moon because it's just quicker than trying to get any of the other moons like another way. So there will be one other kingdom where we do that later, which is Snow Kingdom. But generally speaking, we get most of the moons through mainly intended strats. I really don't like this jump. Alright, I bonk there every time, it's 5, but take it. Alright, so you're supposed to like come back and get a nut to get this one later, but if you do kind of some careful jumping, you can get to it from the side. Alright. So, let's see here. We can see a new enemy type that we can assume. This is weird nut guy. I have no clue what this is, but it's like a nut with stretchy vine legs, and we're going to use it to get up here and grab this moon. We'll use the stretchy guy again a couple more times in here, and then that'll kind of be it for him, and we won't see him anymore. Then we do a long jump here, down into the water, and then we're going to go up this pipe. So each area has two, before you finish the game, each area kind of has these 2 mini rooms. So this is one of the first ones that we'll actually see and do. Every single one of these mini rooms has 2 moons in it, and typically they also have some of the like hidden currency, which is used to just kind of buy random collectibles in the game. So if you see little purple coins of various shapes around, those, oh there you go, see some there. So those are used to buy like the in-game like collectibles and stuff. So there's, the number varies place to place. I think the most being Metro Kingdom has something like 100 of them. I think this one has like 50 or 60 or something like that. But yeah. So you can see some more there, the little nuts and bolts and things.
So the mini rooms, I guess, are 2D.
Yes, some of them. So that one was 2D, but there's like 3D ones and other types as well.
I just assumed they were like all 2D or something.
They're just like mini platforming levels. And honestly, a lot of them are really fun. It's always fun to try to find them. And it's nice because when you play through this game casually, like some of the moons are not in very obvious places. And so when you play through the main kind of like storyline aspect of the game, you get a lot of moons. So like in this one, there's 3 main like storyline bosses. I think you get like 10 moons or so. And then the other 6 or so you're kind of need to come up with yourself. And so in some of the later stages, that starts to be a smaller number. And you can actually kind of struggle to find them. So what's really nice about those ones is they're always, like when you find them, you always know that they're there, right? So it's nice to kind of come across a pipe like that and go in there and you're like, all right, cool, I know there's 2 moons in here. And I know it may not have been super obvious at first, but one of them was like hidden kind of up in an alleyway where I had to jump and really look for it. So it can be really fun to try to work around and figure out where they are.
It's actually a really cool design mechanic too, like from the level developers, because realistically, if you are kind of exploring the main game, like how does that work? I guess first of all, before I finish that thought, Because do you have to collect a certain amount of moons to kind of like fight Bowser at the end, like Mario 64, or?
So if you see on the left, there's like those a bunch of moons, and then there's like missing moons. There's like,
yeah,
I have 10 and I need 6 more. So you need that many to quote power up the Odyssey. Powering up the Odyssey is how you progress the game. And you, like I was saying, as far as I know, you need 124 before you can go to the end, because that will fully power the Odyssey. That's how you get to the moon and how you fight Bowser. Yes, this game, for spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen this game culminates in fighting Bowser on the literal moon. So,
well, we're gonna wreck everything. I've never seen this before. This is my first time.
I know. Oh my god, 6. What an awkward bonk. That was unnecessary. So yeah. Oh my god. 7. Oh, the wheels are falling off. Okay. So yeah, the bonking in this game is more of just like a meme. It's not really super time consuming, especially at like the level I'm at. You know, I make a lot of little mistakes, so the little stuff is always fine. There's a strange, oh boy, it's kind of a weird little glitch you can do here, where if you motion control as you're coming off the side here, he doesn't leave the clipping plane soon enough. Oh, hello. And so you can actually like do your stretchy leg move to get enough height to pop yourself over there, and you skip having to like wait for that like green. It's been out for 5. Yeah, it has been out for 5 years, Dave. Spoilers. You can kind of avoid that clipping plane and go around the green leaves. This guy. Oh, well, I've already made an absolute mess of this, but that's okay. So this is the easiest boss in the game to do, like, with really fast strats. You wait until you see his hat stretch upwards, and then you jump. And then if you jump and immediately throw your hat, you land on his head. So you literally just, that boss, if you don't know that strategy, this boss is such a pain. He sprays that purple goo everywhere. It's really easy to land in it, and like, if you're not like used to the motion and the controls of the game, it's very, very easy to die to that guy. You kind of got a little view of it in the beginning when I didn't quite hit him fast enough, and he sprayed that goo everywhere. The whole fight is him just doing that over and over again. It's incredibly frustrating. So that was a pretty clean wooded kingdom. I'm pretty happy with that. So there wasn't a whole lot of excitement there. We got a couple bonks, but no deaths, and pretty quick kill on the boss, so that was really good. To answer your question, the general progression of the game is it's set up in phases. So you'll notice when I first went through there, I had to kill that PD Piranha, and then a cutscene played, which I immediately skipped, and then I had to kill that brutal boss, and I have no idea what his name is, the guy that spews the purple stuff. His name is something. So that's that. And then you're supposed to go up the rest of, like, there's a whole top section of this level that you're supposed to go through, and then at the top of that, there's a flower boss thing, and like you kill the flower boss. So this is going to be really weird. If you saw there, we're going to Metro Kingdom. Spoiler, we're not going to Metro Kingdom. So all of these cutscenes that I'm skipping, what's going to happen is we're trying to go to Metro Kingdom, and here we go. We can watch a little bit of it, because there we go. Oh no, we found Bowser's thing. We're like, oh, let's go fight him. So that's what's going on right now. Because otherwise, without watching even that little bit of it, you're just like, wait, you were going to Metro Kingdom, and now you're in the Cloud Kingdom? Question mark. So there's some pretty cool. I really hope that I get the quick fight on this, because there are some really cool strats for this guy. So he's pissed. He's mad that we're taking. Yeah, go ahead. He's
no. I was gonna say I do like how fast the boss fights are over.
So you're not supposed to do this, but when you get the hat this way, he's supposed to jump away from you and start the second phase of the fight. But if you do your cap throw in such a way that you hold the cap throw button, it kind of just spins, and then you can run really close to him. And as long as you get close enough to him before you take the cap back, you can literally skip like the entire middle phase of this fight. And so this can be really, really quickly. So if you've played this game, especially the first time you play it, you probably remember like how annoying this fight is, but there's like a whole section that we're just completely skipping. This one can be a little tricky because he shoots a lot of hats at you, and I'm not particularly great at like avoiding them. That seems okay. Oh, you might actually get to see the other phase, because I don't think I'm gonna get to him fast enough. Okay, yeah. So this is the middle phase. He jumps around, it's really annoying, he makes these big rings of fire, then he starts throwing these balls of, like, Mario bricks at you. The biggest debate in this game is the first 2 phases, you just mash, and he, like, gets hit. But in the 3rd phase, he blocks you and then jumps. If he hits you with that tail swing, which, again, in a casual playthrough, why would you expect he's going to do anything differently? He'll hit you with that tail swing and then restart that entire phase. So it's 3 sections of punching him and smacking him against the wall. We've skipped a bunch more stuff. So where are we now? What just happened? So what's happened now is we were flying away, chasing him, because we defeated him on the cloud thing and for honor or whatever. And now he shot us down. And so, like, he hit us with something, and our ship is now stranded here. So this part, I'm going to do this real quick and then talk again, because if I screw this up, it's really annoying. Okay. This level, the intended way to play it, this movement is really cool if I can do it right, by the way. Oh, I wish I didn't. That's okay. You're intended to go forward from where we just were, right? And when you go forward from where we just were, you're going to find yourself... Oops. You're going to find yourself, like, at this bridge, and then when you get to this bridge, a buzzard? Some sort of large bird, which you'll see in a moment. There's this large bird which is going to come, and it's going to take Cappy, and it's going to basically kind of like... it's almost a throwback to, like, Super Mario Sunshine. You lose Cappy, and then you're going to lose the ability to, like, use Cappy for movement. So you have to play the beginning in the intended way. You have to play the beginning of this level without Cappy, which becomes a bit of a crutch by this point, because you can do a lot better movement. It's this thing. So this buzzard guy steals your hat. So we've skipped that cutscene trigger entirely by going, like, all the way around the side. And then I'm going to kill the bird here for safety. You don't have to do this, but in the event that I die, now I can just come back here without having to do all of that nonsense again. So that's the So a couple more moons to get here, and then we will be on our way. The movement here is pretty interesting. You can get a lot of moons really quickly. This is like a really fast section, which is great.
Yeah, there's just like way less moons in this, so I guess there's not like a set level of moons in like each area then.
I was gonna go for the swag, and then I was like, let's not. You can do a blind ground pound off the edge there to get up here, but it's like, oh god. There we go. Okay. If you miss, you go straight into the abyss, and it's not a good look. So then we go one here. Boop. Grab this moon. The last moon, there's a good chance that this works out really, really well when done correctly. But if you don't do it correctly, that's okay. So we're going to try to long jump here into this hole. Oh, okay. That's 6 bonks and I died, which is unfortunate. The dream, when you don't miss aim, is that you can get that moon under that bridge, which will be the last moon that we require, and then you fall into the goo, which, as you noted, since we haven't gotten any checkpoints, would spawn you directly at the Odyssey. So had we not done that, it's only about a 15-second time loss, but we should have gotten that through our first round, and now we have all the moons that we need. It puts us right back next to the Odyssey, and we're ready to get out of here, so it's pretty cool. So that's a pretty nice level. The hardest part of this level, and this is one of the few things where I'll say, like, the speedrun strat is actually a lot harder than casually playing through the game. Skipping Bird Boy, like, it took me a long time to find a consistent setup to do that, like, cap jump, cap dive, cap throw, and dive, which is what it's called. There's no shorter names for this nonsense. But to do the part where I went up to the top of the leaf and, like, climbed up to that big tower. You have to either do a cap throw and jump or, like, a triple jump. And I had been trying to set it up with the triple jump until, like, a couple days ago. And trying to triple jump on an uneven moving leaf is absolutely infuriating. And, like, I would lose, like, minutes just sitting at that tree trying to do what I was trying to do. So I forget why Bowser is in New York. Excuse me, not New York, Metro City. It's New York. But he's here for some reason. And we're here to do something. I don't really recall what.
Okay, wait. The human models in this game?
Oh yeah, well just wait, it gets even better. So if I do this successfully, this is like the swaggiest part of the run. One of them at least. So we're gonna try to hit this. We're gonna slide down this wall, jump up here, cap throw, jump. Let's go, first try. Alright, so that skips like a 2-minute long section. And that movement is insanely frustrating. So it's very, like, you could tell I barely had any room for error there. Oh no. Okay, we're okay. I missed that jump up, but if I miss this, like, we can recover from here. It's not so bad. If you miss that second part of that, it's really bad. Because then I have to do the first jump again, which I was so excited about having succeeded.
Oh,
I really don't like the camera angle for... Oh, I'm bonking my head on the... It's fine, we're okay. So, we're gonna go across this way. I was talking about something when I almost died. Bonk, sent him. So we were talking about that jump. Oh, right, so there's like a whole section where the intended thing that you're supposed to do is like go through this whole section where you go around and there's like tanks involved and a bunch of other nonsense. But there's a really precise jump you can do where if you come down off the top of that... Oh, I've killed myself. Rip. You can kind of jump off that awning, and then with some really precise cap throws and wall jumps, you can just skip that entire section by getting on the roof. And we can pick a moon up along the way, which is awesome. So I'm going for the fast cycle here, which I don't ever really get. Okay, we've already missed it, so pressure's off. But those yellow things are, in my opinion, the most annoying enemies in the entire game, but whatever. So now we're going to do some kind of cool movement here. We're going to come up here, or we're going to miss. That's okay. Quick safety. This, I think, is one of the cooler jumps in the game. You like jump out, cap throw, dive, long jump off the wall, and then you come here. Oh, I missed. If your aim is good, you can actually hit the moon with your hat as you're coming over, and then you just long jump into the moon. Oh, jeez. Now, this, in my opinion, is the scariest jump in the entire game. We're going to do a blind long jump. Yeah, and I missed. So there's a blind long jump across that entire cavern, and the camera can't be manipulated there, it's fixed. And the bad news is, if you miss, it's kind of just like, sucks for you, do it again. So we now get to see this entire section again.
Alright, well then maybe we can spend this opportunity to talk about the human lore, because that's been disturbing me since I thought. So those humans are either like 19 feet tall, and Mario's like 2 foot tall? Or like, how does this proportion? I don't understand in my brain.
Yeah, I have no explanation for this one. It's very weird to me too, to be completely honest with you. Okay, please get this time now. Alright, let's go. Oh, thank God. I hate that jump so much. So, obviously, huge time loss if you miss that. But the camera is turning, and the only way you can make the jump is to do the cap throw about halfway through the dive while the camera is rotating. And it's just really weird. So this boss is really boring and really time-consuming, so we can talk about the people more.
Alright.
So I don't really understand why there's humans in this game at all, if I'm being totally honest.
Same. It's breaking the lore that I know of Mario, because no other Mario game had humans in it that I'm aware of.
So one of the moons we collect in this route, I just call Depressed Guy Route, or the Depressed Guy Moon. There's a guy in a suit sitting on a bench in the city, and you literally have to sit next to him to get the moon. And he's like, wow, the hustle and bustle of the city is so much. Thank you so much for sitting down with me and noticing I exist. And you're like, wow, that's deep. And then he just spits out a moon. It's really kind of strange. But we'll see that here in a little bit. There is a 2-cycle here, but it's really hard to get, and I'm bad at it, so don't expect the... Oh, we're not going to get the 2-cycle. I'm probably actually going to die. Oh, wait, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4... Oh, I think I missed one. It's okay. This second... Oh, Jesus. I hope we don't die. It is really bad if you die here. But now he'll just do this, I think, one time, and then he'll pop back out on the wall. Eventually. Oh, no, he's gonna... Yeah, okay. Yeah, we died. That's awkward. It's okay.
Poor Mario.
Poor Rip Mario. It should put us back. Yeah, there is a really awkward thing that can happen there. If you forget to get that checkpoint by the door, I'm pretty sure you just go back to like the beginning. Yeah, I got too greedy. I tried to do the 2-cycle, but that's okay. This boss is so inconsistent for me, and I really don't like it. This is like my least favorite boss in this whole game. I'm wiggling my controller around a little bit, and you can maybe see that the camera is moving. So like there's like kind of some forced motion controls, but you can also aim it with R. So like this whole thing is just like really weird, and it's hard to aim them, and then he shoots all the little balls at you, which is like, it's kind of hard not to get hit by them, and I'm slow, and I don't know where the health is. Like I should have picked up health during that at some point, but I honestly just, oh, you like shoot this. Oh. That would have been clever if you shot the heart to get health, but there you go. So yeah, we get to see this thrilling gameplay again. But this is kind of like the last really fumbly part of the run, in my opinion. From here, it's a lot easier. So the idea is you want to shoot like consistently near where he's running, so you can kind of hit them all as he's going. See, I missed the 2 at the top. That's okay. If we have full health this time, it's not going to be a problem. If you can believe it, well, we're going to be pretty far behind. So I was 3 minutes ahead of my PB entering Metro, but we've now spent like 25 minutes fighting this boss, so. This is definitely like, I think, a reset run, or a reset point, if you're like actually going for time. And it is kind of frustrating because all I missed was that. Like I literally, that's all I needed to do to finish him in the last cycle, but. Okay. Alright, that's Mecha Wiggler, that's his name. He's a pain, but, you know, it is what it is. So, he's done. Is Mario not human? No, I'm not sure. And to Dave's point, it is really weird, because Mario, like, kind of is human. He's like a cartoon human, right? But then there's, like, still kind of cartoony, but less cartoony humans in this area. It's very strange. Alright. So the rest of this should go pretty quickly, and I think now there's some pretty cool movement. I can show off one of the weird mechanics, which is abused a lot more in the more difficult routes. Yeah, we got rid of the bug, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Right,
so...
Sorry, I just stepped away for 1 second, but I'm back.
Oh, no, you're good. So, if you jump here, throw Cappy backwards, and collect this moon, if I start violently shaking the controller, Cappy was close enough to that power line that I can like snap into it, even though I'm nowhere near it, which is kind of cool. So, RC car move. This one's weird. Oh, the controls for this are so bad. I hate trying to get this thing. Oh my god. Everything is backwards. Hold on.
That's amazing.
Okay.
All of this movement and all of a sudden the remote control car is
Yeah, oh my god. Well, there's like a pretty consistent setup, but I pressed the wrong way as I left, which was not right, so...
that looks incredible.
Rip me, it's okay. So we're gonna hit this awning, come up here, cap throw to this, cap throw here, come around here, do a little dumpster diving, which I think has actually been... Oh, all of the moons have... Oh, whoops. All of the moons have names. I don't know if people have noticed that. So that one's, who piled garbage on this?
What do you think the odds are that, you know, like all the developers...
Boy, I tell you, you're not from around here, are you? You're the first person to ever just sit down next to me. It's a lonely city. Thanks for reaching out. Take this for your trouble.
Wow, dude, I feel bad for this guy that's probably a monster.
It gets way too real.
No, I don't feel that guilty because he's dressed like a mobster from like Prohibition 1920s New York. But at the same time, provided he didn't kill people, I do feel bad for him because that's kind of sad.
Yeah.
But I'm thinking, you know, like, even though he's sitting down there, maybe he's got, like, some gangster, like, life story that we don't know about. Maybe he machine gunned down, like, 30 people the day before. That's why nobody wants to sit beside this guy.
That's why he's so lonely.
Exactly.
Yeah,
there's a lack of information.
Worth a pause for some of the best dialogue in the game, in my opinion.
No, we need more lore before we sympathize. That's all I'm saying.
That's fair.
He could be dangerous.
So this is our second trash-related moon, very in keeping with the themes of New York City. All right, cool, I got it. You can fall down in that pit there if you're not careful, which can be really frustrating. This movement I find really cool. So we come up to the... Oh, I almost forgot a moon. Okay, I got too ahead of myself. So we're going to go and climb... Oh, God, the collision here is just like, why? There we go. Okay. This can be really hard to get on that. Shake violently. Shake violently. Okay. So we're going to get this moon. And then we're going to fix our camera so I know where I'm going. Okay. And we're going to come this way. And if I can, I should be able to... There we go. Okay. So I can grab this moon. Before even hitting the ground, I can do another cap throw and cap dive. Now I can come down here. No! I missed the spot on the ground. Okay, you can hit this one from straight up there. And yet again, without even touching the ground again. Well, I think that's 7. You can kind of come down here. So, not quite as quick as I would have liked, but it's okay.
Just jump off that guy's head.
Yeah. So this is where we abuse the, like, Mario rolling through people is a really weird mechanic. This is supposed to be difficult because, like, the people are really annoying and in your way. But as it turns out, you can just do that. And then, so this is one of those sections like I was talking about before, right? Like, there's 2 hidden moons. So the first one is usually pretty obvious. The second one was up here. You'd have to like look and realize there were awnings to figure out where it was. So, yeah. So that's kind of one of those little side areas. Some areas I think have more than 2. There might actually be quite a few. This is the part where the story of this game gets a little strange. So the mayor here is like, she wants to have a festival. Honestly, some of the best music in the game is at this level, and we're gonna skip all of it, which is really unfortunate. But she's like, hey, I need to have a festival. She's like, but I need a band, so we're gonna get a drummer. And when you play through the main game, you gotta go get like a saxophone player and a bassist, like maybe a guitarist, I think is the other guy you get. But we don't care, so we're just gonna leave. So we're gonna head back over this way, and then...
Well, I would like to propose a question to chat then. Hamster said, is this how Dave's mind works? Why do you think the guy was sitting beside the bench then? Let's hear your own theories.
He's sad!
Okay, let's hear your non-canon theories.
Oh, okay.
I mean, maybe he is just a lonely guy, I don't know. Now I feel like a jerk.
Well, yeah, maybe he's just waiting on the bus. That's a good theory.
There you go! Why did I immediately think like 1920s prohibition gangster?
Yeah, in a city covered in billboards, it's very clearly New York. So the punishing part about this, right, is we had 2 kind of slip-ups in that area, where I fell off the tower. That was really slow. And then we died to the boss, and that alone, we were 2.5 minutes ahead, and now we're a minute behind. So that was like 3.5 minutes of time loss from missing 1 jump and missing 1 shot. So it can be pretty brutal.
Yeah, especially with that 1 jump for sure.
That one sucks, and honestly, it's not even that hard. It's just that I tend to overcorrect the fact that the camera is moving, and so I saw what happened, and it's not super obvious, but like, I dove a little bit to the right when I should have, like, I basically zigged when I should have zagged. You know how it goes.
So it's the zag, not the zig.
I see, so Hamster has, I think, the actual correct story, right? He's in his suit because he's a busy Metro Kingdom businessman, right? And he's just been grinding 24/7, and he's lonely from the grind, and he just wants someone to say hi. That I think that's the lore. But
what happens if his grind is mobster life, though?
nah, his grind is like middle management and sales, like for sure. Yeah, so your real life experience may vary with teenagers that are alone on benches. Full disclosure.
Yeah.
Do that at your own risk.
Especially when in New York.
Yeah, right. Surprise! There's a hole in the ground, by the way. So there's some pretty cool movement in here. There's a quick way to get this moon, but it's really scary, and if you knock these boxes over, you're in a lot of trouble, so I just do it this way. You can triple jump, cap throw, and then do a wall jump, but I couldn't be bothered. So now we're gonna do something kind of cool. We're gonna jump off this, cap throw, come off here, and woo, we're way up here. So you're supposed to not be able to get up here until much later, but by using that umbrella and some carefully timed cap throws and dives, we can get up onto this platform. Camera, please, what are you doing? Camera, what the? Oh my god, that's never happened before. Jeez. So yeah, you were asking about the camera. It's usually very polite. That was an instance of it being completely.
No. This is when you say that was like a Mario 64 camera Easter egg. Time to invite the developers. No. It's not mean. I'm sorry. I've played that game enough to not like the camera in it. The game itself is good, but the camera is not good. It's pretty rough. It is a rough one for sure. Okay, so
that's not
next very random question.
Yes, sorry, random question.
Okay, random question is what? Okay, there's only that question.
Oh. Sorry, what's up?
I'm sorry, my random question wasn't just what. I was thinking there was more to that question. I was gonna say in terms of like biggest time lost in the entire game if you missed a trick, what is it? Because a minute and 30 is already like massive in my brain, but I'm not used to like speedrunning longer games, right?
Dying to Wiggler is probably one of the longest time losses. That like the 2 time losses that I took are probably 2 of the biggest ones in the game. Falling off that platform costs you like almost a minute. Dying to Wiggler, depending on how poorly the fight already went. Like if I died to Wiggler on second cycle, we would have lost like at 30, 40 seconds less, right? But I was already 3 cycling him. And by the time I finished 3 cycling him and then dying, I mean, that's just a really long time. So this is our second and final cheap purchase moons, and it's just because in this particular area, the moons are all really spread out, and there's no faster way than just buying it. And it's kind of similar with Luncheon Kingdom. We bought that moon because there was just not a better way to get it. So they introduce you to this mechanic like in the second area of the game, but we just don't ever use it. So this is the first time where we're gonna get to see, where we're gonna get to see stacking Goombas. So you can capture Goombas, and with captured Goombas, they can walk on each other's heads. And there's quite a few moons throughout the game that depend on, get over here, you being able to hit these like switches. And so this one tells you you need to be at least 4 Goombas tall to ride this ride. And so if you had less than 4 Goombas, this won't open, but we do this in a Alright. Because I'm a lunatic, there's a relatively hard jump here that I'm going to try if we don't die beforehand. So the intended thing for this level is you're supposed to go all the way around this like really roundabout. Nice. There's like a whole section of this level we just skipped, but it turns out that you can clear that gap with enough movement. So you're supposed to like go to the right and then go up a huge ledge and then do like a mini boss fight and then come back and then you get the moon. But it turns out you can just long jump and cap throw and dive and be fine. So we're nearly done with Snow Kingdom. You see we only have 1 moon left. So the last moon we're gonna get is over here, and then we're gonna warp back to the Odyssey and move on.
There was a double raid. Both.
I saw that. Welcome, everyone.
I only want to point that out because these are both 2 of the people that I met very early on Twitch, like very, very, pretty much like first people that I met on Twitch. But the fact they both ended their streams if this wasn't coordinated at the exact same time is kind of crazy.
So yeah, just general shenanigans of being bad there. Right, and then back to the Odyssey we go. Yeah, welcome everyone from the raids. This is Super Mario Odyssey, for anyone who's not familiar with the game. It's going pretty well. I'm a very new runner to the game. We've only had...
No, you're killing it, dude. You're doing a really good job, and your commentary is making me shut up, so that's actually how I can tell you're actually good. Because otherwise I'd be talking a lot more, but
we saved a lot of time there, which is good. So that was a pretty clean Snow Kingdom. Nothing went wrong. I didn't really bonk off of anything. We didn't die anywhere. Seaside! That's the one that I was trying to talk about before.
Memory!
Not Lake. Seaside Kingdom. Okay, here we go.
Lake Kingdom, you're a fraud!
Lake and Seaside, like, they both have a big... The thing I guess maybe I don't really know about this.
No! One is 1 word, the other's 2 words, like...
But
Well, I guess it depends if you.
I think seaside is one.
Yeah, it could be a compound.
Yeah,
word,
it's a
actually.
compound word. Okay, so strictly movement-wise, this is like of the whole run, top 5 hardest. Oh, I paused the game. Top 5 is like hardest things to actually do. Well, it's not gonna work if I do it like that. That's for sure. So you've got to get up here. This is not particularly difficult. We're trying to get. Oh, come on, bro. That Goomba's a pirate. He's pretty neat. So we're trying to get up there, which if you can see how high that is. So we're gonna do some really specific movement here. Wow, first try. Okay. You have like 5-ish pixels of play in that jump to get up there. Again, that's one of the moons where you're not really supposed to get until much later in the game. There's like a whole section you can go through, you wrap around and go up all this big hill, and then you end up on top of something, and then you're supposed to kind of like jump down to get, excuse me, to get that. The reason I keep ground pounding is with any amount of timing, which I will admit is better when I'm not trying to talk over myself, you can grab the moons without having to jump. So that's why I keep ground pounding, but my timing is bad because I'm old. And so what actually ends up happening is I just ground pound the ground for no reason. I hate this moon, like with a passion. I find controlling this fire flower thing to be nearly impossible. All right, we got it, let's go. But it's so easy to just like turn slightly and miss one of those notes there. Oh, I fell in the water. And then you have to like basically do it again. So it's pretty easy to goof that up in this time. So glad for that. This guy we're strictly using for movement. He has a lot of interesting applications in like the casual playthrough of the game. This is a really fun level. You get to use those guys a lot. But we're just gonna come down here and steal one of these fish and move on with our lives. So this is where things get. This is like I think the most broken level that we're gonna do. There's a lot of strange stuff that's gonna happen here. So we're gonna do this one. We're gonna come out. We're going to. Oh, by the way, you're gonna. This is like if you're gonna get rich, it's gonna be here. This tunnel with the fish, like, is Bonk City. So, okay, we actually did pretty well there. So we're gonna come out of the tunnel. Nice. Okay, cool. And then as we come out of the tunnel, oops, I've gone too far. There's just this like random patch over here that for whatever reason, if you spin, you get a moon. I don't understand why, but okay. We're gonna pop. Oh, no. We're gonna come out. Yes. Ooh, our cycling was really good this time. This was really
all
good.
the motions at once.
Yeah. So that guy usually is much further down the road because I'm too slow. So that means we're actually on like a really good cycle here. Then if you spin, 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 and spin, for whatever reason that happens. All right. Now I'm gonna try to focus for a second, and I'll explain what happens here afterwards, assuming that I get this. This is new that I've added, so hopefully it goes okay. Oh no! Throw the hat on the fish! No! Oh, disaster! I missed the fish! That's disappointing.
It's fine, we're going to die and drown.
And then I completely missed the fish. It's okay, we're gonna try this again because this is really cool and there's more fish for us to be had. So.
Okay.
Oh my god. Will you... Bruh. Jeez.
Oh, you were giving me anxiety there. I thought Mario was gonna drown.
Thankfully, you just started taking damage. Alright, where's my... Now I gotta find that scene again, though. Okay, it's right here.
Alright, second try, I believe.
I think that might be far enough. Okay, so now we're out of bounds.
Cool. Good job.
So there's a lot of weird stuff going on there. Oh, I'm stuck in the current, though. Oh, that's not good. Okay, I think I'm good. So from out of bounds over here, you can... Oh, did I clip back in? I might have clipped back in. Oh, that's disappointing. So I clip back in bounds. That's okay. What you want to do there is you clip out of bounds, and then that lets you come back and clip into this loading plane that's underneath the Sphinx. Why will you not let me talk to you? There we go. Go elsewhere. Or do I need to be Mario? Oh, there we go. So, yeah. When we're out of bounds, I can explain what's happening there, but when I was up near the edge with the fish, right, there's a current which constantly pushes you backwards, but in that one particular area, for some reason, there's two like vectors in the physics engines which meet one another, and they kind of work against each other, so the force is not strong enough to actually push you back. So you can, and for whatever reason, it doesn't apply to the fish as it's not moving. So you can basically push the fish most of the way out of bounds, and then as you recapture the fish, which would have worked the first time, unfortunately, but as you recapture the fish, if you then do a couple quick dives to go downwards, you can push yourself out of bounds behind that plane. And then when you do the spinning motion, the hitbox of the Cheep Cheep gets really big. And so you do that spinning motion. I was just a little bit too close. And you'll grab the Cheep Cheep. The Cheep Cheep will grab the moon. Then you can swim down. And as you swim down, you'll be able to hit the loading plane of that Sphinx from behind and not have to talk to him. So all of that saves some time. But all in all, it was pretty clean, and it was really nice up until that point, where unfortunately we lost the Cheep Cheep, which is awkward. But I'm glad we got to see the skip. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that's good.
This is not, it may not look like it, but in my opinion, this is the single hardest thing in the game, in this run. So, let's see if we can get this. No, that's not it. I hit the wall. So, I'm gonna have to do a triple jump into like a bunch of crazy movement to get up on top of this ledge. No,
okay, I see now.
Yeah, there's a bunch of really weird, it's harder to do if you don't climb up this way.
Dude, the music is oddly suspenseful and fitting for this trick.
So this might take me a second. I'll give it a couple more tries, but there's a lot of like ways that this really quickly goes wrong. Like, I'm throwing the cap the wrong way because I'm holding the wrong direction slightly on the control stick. But okay.
Yeah, good job.
Jeez. Yeah, that can be really tricky. So in order for that to work, you have to do a triple jump, which is fine. At almost the exact peak of the triple jump, then you have to do a cap throw and dive. After you cap throw and dive, you have to throw Cappy against the wall, but in a very specific way, so that you don't like clip through anything. And then after that, then you have to do another. Then you have to clip the wall jump, and then cap throw at an angle in order to actually like. Oh, we just fight this guy again. Oh shit. I'm not really sure why he's back, but he's back.
Okay. The suddenly boss fight.
He didn't get enough the first time, I guess. He's just as easy the second time. You just sit here and like, it's like, okay, cool, it's over. So yeah, that's quick. But yeah, so that jump can be really precise and it can be really frustrating. And it doesn't take a long time to reset. Like I probably lost like maybe a minute there. But it can be really frustrating. So this entire level is plagued with like jumps that you can barely make. So Luncheon Kingdom, I think, is probably in the run the hardest one. It also has the most moons, I believe. Like this one and the Desert Kingdom. Which now I'm trying to remember if he's even called the Desert Kingdom. I'm pretty sure that's right. The sandy place. So you can see we need 18 moons. We've already got 3, so we're well on our way. And this one still goes pretty quick. Oh, that was a blessing. I missed the moon, and I have no idea how I've not jumped into the one-hit kill lava.
Maybe can I ask you a very random question?
Yeah.
Okay, so you are a very prominent record holder. Yeah.
Oh, nerds.
Right?
Wait, what? What do I hold?
I said you're a very prominent record holder.
I'm curious to know which record you're referring to now, but it could be possible.
No, like the best one that you have to flex. You have to talk about.
Basic math record?
Yes!
Oh, yeah, I hold the world record in basic math on the Atari. I did. Oh, no. I think I did. I have like an 18.1 second run.
Yeah.
It's the most absolute carpal tunnel inducing brain dead garbage speedrun that has ever existed.
Okay, so how do you go from 18-second basic math, where I'm assuming there's not a lot of movements at all, to Super Mario Odyssey, where it's all of this stuff? Like,
so you just have to sit there and spam reset the level until you get a particular starting number, and then you basically go from there.
Please explain, I'm curious.
And the only thing that's ever random is the last one. Oh, triple jump turnip swag. Let's go. So yeah,
you hit yourself. Oh, you're just thinking, you're reflecting on life choices, I guess.
Yeah. So it's like Yeah, it's really... Oh, hello? Oh, can we get there from here? Oh yeah, easy. No! Oh, that's bad. This is really bad. Okay, well, let's see what happens. I should have reset that. I don't know where this is going to put me and how much of this I have to redo now. This might... Oh, okay, that's not so bad at all, actually. Okay. Alright, that's just going to take a long there. That's 9. We don't need to go up and around anymore, so... We'll just go this way. So, I should have probably just reset when I missed the first jump and I fell off, but I was supposed to be on this ledge up here, and then you can just backflip over to this and it's fine. But yeah, I'm dense, and for some reason tried to take a jump that I knew I couldn't make. Twice. Well, we might somehow... At least I think I hit the checkpoint this time. So this is a side effect of, like I was saying, not to just make excuses, but like one of my controller buttons is actually like kind of getting messed up. 10. And so sometimes when I want to long jump, I instead ground pound, which is 11, really fun. So this is just throwing for content so I can bonk on more stuff. Or I figured everyone really likes the music in here, so 12. Okay, so we're supposed to get that. Then this should be a long jump. There we go. This is how this was supposed to happen. We're gonna get this flag, which I never get because we're clearly having some troubles here today. Alright. And then we get this. So cool. We're still way underestimate, by the way. So like, I have like 10 minutes of extra screw around time. So like, even though we're making some mistakes and kind of getting to see some other stuff, we're still a pretty decent run, especially for me. This level, by the way, when done correctly, which I don't really know how to do, is like super swaggy. It's like so fast.
Yeah, this looks actually really goofy. I like this a lot. Oh, I thought you almost shot that one. I was like, no, Mario.
Yeah.
Dude, I was juked.
Oh, I've almost missed that though. I almost missed the cap again and dove into the abyss, as it were. So, yeah, where are we now? Okay, so now we gotta get... Oh, I missed it. Oh, I got it. All right. It's hard to do. There's this really weird inclined plane here. Oh, I got it. Let's go. Oh, and I got the other one as well. That's actually really hard. There's a really specific way to set that up so that you can make those jumps. Let's see if I can get this. No, I'm gonna bonk. All right, so that's 13. This jump can be really frustrating because you kind of gotta like backflip and then cap. Oops, 14. Sorry. I think you want to backflip from here? Oh, 15? Oh, I'm supposed to backflip this way. Nope, 14. I hate this jump. I can't ever remember where you're supposed to start it from, but you need to jump. There we go. Okay. So, we're at 14 bonks. Those are some good bonks for charity. It's good. That jump is frustrating because I just haven't practiced enough and I forget where to set it up from. But yet again, there's kind of like a high plane, and without the right kind of starting location, it's really hard to... Oh, now, yeah, all of a sudden, by the way, now there's just cheese everywhere. This is a part of the game I really can't. Yeah, and the Hammer Bros throw frying pans, which kind of is awesome, to be completely honest with you. Yeah, so they're throwing frying pans, and you gotta throw frying pans at the cheese. Unfortunately, I don't think there will be any cringeworthy freestyle rapping today. Yeah. I think I've got enough of that for one lifetime, unfortunately.
No way, dude.
It's just, there's no way. So we're kind of getting to the end of here. There's 1, 2, I think there's only 5 moves left, right? Yeah, okay. So the first one is this one. This one was, oh, okay, we got it. I was like, I might have shorted that jump. You light the little candle, or torch, whatever you want to call it. Now, this jump is the bane of my existence, and I die here a lot, so let's see what happens. Do triple jump, cat throw. Oh, that looks good. Let's go. Okay, so that can be really tricky to get up. And then everything back here is just insanely precarious. I really don't like it. You're back on these, like, tiny inclined planes. Nothing is straight or level. Mario can fall off of, like, literally everything. I think I shorted that, yeah. I think we might be okay if I can get up here. Yeah, we're alright. Okay, so... thankfully, if you screw that up, you just come back this way. There was a much quicker way to get up here, but... that's alright. Wait, so I want to go from here, right? Ow! think it's 15. And then we'll go this way, and then cat throw, grab this guy. Oh, 16. We did pretty good without the bonking in the beginning, but towards the end, it just gets a little weird. So this is actually the intended thing you're kind of supposed to be doing, by the way. So in the story, I don't know why we're doing this, but there's this big bird. It's very hungry. We give it the prime beef or whatever. Grab this moon. The rest of this level consists of coming back and trying to kill the bird. So like you get this triple moon, and then the bird like boils the soup or something. And this whole level is kind of strange. But yeah. So. There's a movie that probably explains whatever I was just talking about, but I don't know. I skip it all the time. I played through this game casually and collected all like. There's 900 moons, by the way. So in the run, we're only gonna get 124 of them, but like there's completely so much content in this game, and it's really really fun in my opinion to like explore and try to find most of it.
I actually bought this game, and then sadly I've never opened it yet. So.
It's legit.
No, it's not. Apparently it's 5 years old. Like.
Yeah, 2018 I think, or 2017.
Yeah.
So I think it's 2017 maybe. Oh no, what did I hit? Oh, I was mashing and I hit the wrong button. This is why mashing is dangerous.
So, Continue in chat said, this stage is making me hungry and it's freaking 11 p.m. But little did you know, she's not talking about all the cheese and the food, she's talking about eating that big bird because she's like a parrot eater.
There we go. I don't know, that big piece of meat was pretty tasty. It is called the Luncheon Kingdom, so 2007.
It did look pretty good. Like I'm kind of getting hungry too.
We were going to Bowser to fight Bowser. Turns out again, he's somehow like maybe it isn't him at this point. Maybe it's the I think it actually might. Oh, I'm gonna bonk. I think it might actually be the dragon thing we're about to fight that shoots us down. Somehow we get stuck down here. I don't really remember how. And now we have to go fight a dragon. This is the part where the game starts to kind of lose me. So everything's fine till here. What is this thing? Like, why is this a boss? Like, everything is very Mario based, and then like this almost what is that game? Like a Oblivion style Ender Dragon or whatever, like just decides it needs to show up and like ruin everything.
It's like straight out of Skyrim. Like, what is going on?
It didn't work. That's okay.
I do not like that eyeball texture. That's too realistic of an eyeball for me.
So we're gonna jump on his head 3 times, and he's gonna be dead. So I'm gonna get an extra heart because dying here yet again is another one of those things that's like annoyingly costly. And there's like a slightly faster strat here that saves like a few seconds, but I really struggle to consistently get it. So the dragon is gonna fall, and there's a way that you can set up like a correctly timed triple jump and cap throw and dive. Oh, I did it. Okay, cool. And so your iframes actually wear off right when the dragon is like done. So that's pretty cool. So yeah, if you manage to get onto his nose as he's doing that animation, then you can like purposely, it's kind of like a damage boost, right? You purposely take damage and you don't have to deal with that later. Oh my. Okay, excuse me, Mr. Dragon. Okay, so now we're good. That's pretty much the end of the fight. Oh, we're gonna take some damage here, but that's okay. So this fight consists of throwing Cappy on all of these weird metal spike things. Which I'm not really sure why you do that or what it has to do with the dragon, and then ground pounding his head. So. But yeah, so that is the random dragon that appears in the game that I can't explain why it's random.
Dude, his death face is grotesque. Like,
yeah, I mean, it gets really weirdly like real and not like Mario cartoony at all for this part. And then, yeah,
why is he on that?
Even the art style, I feel like this changes completely, right? Like the background is all these destroyed blocks and textures, and it's very like gothic. It's the only place in the entire game that looks anything like this, and it's just like I don't know. I've always thought it was weird, but this is Ruined Kingdom, or it was Ruined Kingdom, and that's that. So that's the end. You don't need to collect any extra moons here. I think there's only one extra moon, and it's like over there to my to the left of the Odyssey, like on a ledge in a treasure chest. Yeah. So I had been going for a slightly different strat in this next level, and I'm trying to figure out what I want to do because it hasn't been working out well. I've been dying a lot trying to do it. We'll see. We have plenty of time at this point. Like we've done pretty well, so I think at this point we're pushing towards the end. The last boss of this game is like nigh impossible to kill quickly as well, so we'll see how that goes. It's really hard to do the speedrun strats on the final boss. But this is Bowser's Kingdom, so this will be the last kingdom that we're collecting moons on. After this, well, I don't want to spoil the end because apparently Dave hasn't seen it, but after this, we'll go somewhere else.
Yeah, I'm the only person in the world that's never played Odyssey, and here I am co-commentating.
Yeah, there you go. Literally the most unqualified person.
Literally, yes. Like, it is the most unqualified person you could have asked to roll for Walker.
Oh, that's good.
Like, if there was a firefighter, it's like, I don't know. I don't even know at this point, like, you hire a wrestler to become a firefighter or something. Can you imagine, like, Stone Cold Steve Austin? You hire him in a fire department. All the other firefighters are putting out fires with, like, a water hose. Steve Austin's just, like, running around, like, giving people a stunner. Like, this is me, like,
So there's only one, like, there's like maybe one or two non-required moons that we get here. You really don't need many. Like that one, much like a lot of the other ones we're about to see, is required to advance the story. This whole level, it's an interesting level design, right? So there's all these kind of like mini levels, and they're basically designed to kind of be these little standalone places, and then you move the little zips to move between them. So this is the level where I had been trying something slightly different, and I think what I'll do is I will mix the two strands. Ooh, my, that was dicey. I'll kind of mix the two together and see if I can't do it that way. Oh, hello? Oh, this is gonna get weird. No, leave me alone. Backflip, cap throw, dive, cap throw, dive. Now we're over here. Do another cap throw, dive, and dive, and we'll grab this one up at the top and the back. But then I'm going to do something kind of strange here that saves a little bit of time later. Oh, I thought you could. Oh, he's a spiky hat. I guess that's why you can't jump on top of him. So we just need to get this one here, and that's the one that I really don't like to get. It's kind of awkward. So now we're gonna blow some stuff up with these random bombs that are here for some reason. So this is like, oh, we haven't seen any of these yet. So all throughout the game, by the way, there's some moons that require you to get moon fragments. So it's kind of like, I think there was a concept in Galaxy of this, right? Like you needed to collect the, what would you call them? Like the star fragments maybe or something to do something with the game. And so anyways, you have to collect 5 of the moon fragments. They're kind of hidden throughout a small part of the level, and then the moon will spawn. So it's kind of the first time we've seen that mechanic. Traditionally, I'm thinking about it now, so hopefully I don't. There's actually the last optional moon that we need to get from this level is right here, and I oftentimes completely forget about it. So, right at the other side of this door, oh, 16 monks. There's a moon over here on this ledge that we can get. So, the nice thing is the optional moons here are really close to everything else we need to get. So those are the only 2 we need. There was the Pokio one that we got by sticking our nose in the hole back there, and then the one right here. So,
are you controlling? Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, this electricity thing. Is this like
you just hold forward.
Oh, okay.
It's like on a path.
Ah, okay, that's what I was wondering. I didn't know if you were actually controlling that manually or not.
So this is the first time we see this boss. I believe she might be the boss for the desert level that we never did. I'm trying to remember like where she's actually supposed to be in the game, because this is supposed to be the second time you fight her, but clearly it's only so she must have been on the desert level. I think she's like the desert level boss. But with some, you're supposed to let her throw those bombs at you, and then she does this like semi-boss mode attack where she throws really big bombs, and then you hit her with them. But if your timing is decent, you can just throw these ones back and hit her in the head. So she's really quick and easy. I don't mind her at all. The next one is that hat guy, who's Topper. He's one of the only ones whose name I actually know. And Topper is literally the devil, and I always struggle to beat him because he's the devil. So, if you remember Topper from the very beginning of the game, well, spoiler, he's back, and he must have been investing in stonks because he has... Oh, come on! I feel like I got that. I need to hit that hat right there again. Oops, not that one. That one! Okay. As you can tell, Topper has invested heavily in hats, and he has a lot of them.
So, do you know where the hat is you're supposed to hit? Or like
He's in this one that I... Oh, wait. I thought is it this one? No. Oh, he's in this one. Wait, no. Okay. Whatever. This is the best of us. What are you gonna do about it? That's the cleanest I've done that fight in a long time, to be honest with you. Like, it's okay to miss the hat jumps. It's not like super time consuming. It's a lot better than dying, obviously. That boss is just really weird, and he can be really tricky. If you get the timing down right, he's very easy, right? Like, if you know the timing and you're successful with it, that boss is reduced to, like, jumping on the hats, kind of like the first boss where I hit the bombs, right? Or the guy with the purple hat, who you just jump on his head and he dies. So that boss is traditionally... It's weird, like, I think the casual way to kill that boss is considerably harder, right? Like, all the hats are flying around, there's a bunch of stuff to dodge, like, if you just jump on the hat and skip that phase entirely, it's a lot more straightforward, so... for safety, we're gonna get this, and then let's see if I get the... That's not right. I'm just gonna reset this jump, because if you get it wrong... Okay, now I've jumped on that. Tokyo, leave me alone. That looks mostly correct. Nope. Alright, we'll take a little detour here. Alright, that'll work. Alright, so we skipped like a bunch of stuff that we were supposed to do there. Alright, well, then I ran the mom, but whatever. Okay, so this is like... Get this for safety. Alright, so... You can actually just skip this guy by just jumping. So, you're clearly supposed to like try to kill that guy with the Pokio. And yeah, so there's another little checkpoint here. So we're getting very close to kind of the... Oh, whoops. I must not have stuck my nose in that. This is another thing where like to make the big jumps, you do have to use motion controls, but I find even with motion controls, it's still very unintuitive. Like, what's happening here? So yeah. Ooh, hello. Alright, so this is the final boss fight of the game. We get to fight the Brutal Mech, which is like basically Bowser's arts and crafts project, I like to call it. So when you see this thing, you'll see what I'm saying. Yeah, this is like arts and crafts 101. So I don't know what's going on here really, but he's built this giant wooden and metal contraption, and like, yeah, it's... Alright, so we're gonna try to wait for the second bomb to spawn, because otherwise he staggers. So then he falls down. Then we're gonna take our Pokio, we're gonna jump to the top, and this is where this gets like weird. So the normal strat is you do that 4 times and it's over, right? But because we still have control of this Pokio, if we're fast enough, we can stick our nose back in here. You're not supposed to be up here at all. And now we can wait for him to take his 3rd step, I believe, and then just hit this guy. And then we're back on top. He's gonna shoot us off again, and we can just get up here. And now we're gonna chill, right? Because he's running around like an absolute lunatic. But eventually he'll stop. He'll take 5 steps, and then I'm going to repeat this process over here, in theory. So he's going to do a 360. There, you have a chance to hit him there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I missed. Oh, no. It's okay. I mean, you just jump back on top of him and do it again, but it's kind of time consuming. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Alright, and then he's going to shoot us off again. But then we're hopefully... Alright, nice. Now we're back on top. Oh my god, that is the cleanest Brutal Mech fight I have ever had. So
looks
that
really
is
good.
basically, that is the perfect kind of beginner strat. Like, you constantly are getting back on top, you're hitting him. Well, there was the time where we missed. That was awkward. But
well, 98% good then.
well, we're gonna be coming out of here like this is like a 2 to 3 minute gold probably. Because if you fall off of him, it's really time consuming. Because you have to go through that whole first phase, and each cycle he does more stuff of throwing more bombs at you, and then there's additional stuff that he puts on the ground. So I'm really pleased we kind of got to show the optimal kind of case for that fight. So yeah, that's that. If I haven't screwed up, we now have the perfect amount of moons to leave here as well. You'll notice in this one, the game didn't tell us how many moons we needed prior, but we could obviously look it up. Oh, there's no GG. That's the first debate. We haven't killed Bowser, right? So that was just Bowser's mini boss. Okay, thank God I got all the moons. That's always. I came back here one time and I threw the hat on it, and this was in one of my practice runs, and Cappy is like, "We need more moons," and I was like, "Oh no, I've completely debated myself." Yeah, so that was a gold by about 1 minute and 40 seconds. So that was really a really clean Bowser section, which is really nice. So this is the last phase of the game. It's unlikely, but possible.
Possible.
According to my splits, I'm like 30 seconds behind PB. But I do have a new strat on there is a new Bowser strat that I didn't do before that if I pulled off, like, we'd be kind of right there. It's going to be a good run for me regardless. And short of the, 4 minutes I lost in Metro Kingdom, it would have been really nice. So, don't ask me why. Bowser culminates all of his stealing and shamelessly, first of all, Mario looking hella dapper. But Bowser has stolen all of the resources of the land. He's got rings and flowers, and he's ready. His wedding is happening over there in Chapel in the Moon, because where else would you get married, I guess? And so we're going to come over here and do a long jump, because we don't want to wait for all of that other stuff. There is moon physics, by the way. If you can tell, Mario is rolling around real weird.
Very floaty.
Yeah, he's very floaty. Like a long jump from here, you can clear that entire gap. Oh, that's awkward. I thought that was coming towards me. Here's our famous friend, the Fire Flower. Now, this is kind of an infamous trick called Moon Skip. So that cave to my left you see over there, right? You're supposed to go in there and spend 5 to 10 minutes going through a ton of stuff where you recapture all of the objects from the beginning of the game and kind of play through. It's kind of like a nice homage to everything you've done so far, right? But people eventually found out, and I'm going to try to do this and then I'll explain it later. Oh, that's not right. Sorry, I didn't set it up correctly. 1 second. Oh, first try, let's go. Okay, there's a really distinct section of the wall over there that is really hard to get to, and you're not supposed to be able to do that, but we've now skipped a 10-minute platforming section of the game. So
right on.
Yeah, and so I mean that's just done now. So now we skipped that entire 5 to 10 minute section. We're gonna come in here. I said first try, and now I'm realizing I failed it twice before that.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna point that out.
So the part of that jump that goes wrong, right, is that if you so see they're fighting over the wedding ring. There's actually a wedding. It gets real weird. And now we have to fight Bowser for ultimate glory. So here's Bowser. Here's the ultimate glory. So when I had done this in my oh shnikes. Oh, please give me the hat. Oh, okay, that's fine. This is awkward. So, it can be really finicky to try to throw this and not pick the hat up, if that makes sense. So you kind of have to throw it off to the side, and trying to run sideways while also jump. Oh, we only did it. Jump to the side while not touching the hat while also throwing the thing. It's just kind of a mess. So now he gets kind of mad. He's gonna try to roast us. This, in my opinion, is the stupidest hitbox that has ever been put in a video game, ever. I'm clearly being turned into charcoal, but the hit plane of that, by the way, is legitimately just the only way that can hit you is if you're standing flat on the ground, which I just don't understand why you have this 5 to 10 foot tall flame, but it can't hit you unless you're on the ground. But, alright. So 2 cycles. So now we just jump a bit more. So as long as you're like in the air when this passes you, it doesn't hit you. Like, clearly it's got like the actual flame model is going through us, but this is the hardest hat to get, so hopefully it goes okay. He shoots a bunch of them at you. They're really a pain to avoid. Oh, perfect. Okay. Oh, that was actually, so other than our missing the first one, that was a really clean Bowser fight, so that's good. For this one, by the way, you'll notice he does jump. Oh my god, jump. He spins a 3rd time, and you're like, ah, I got you, you're spinning a 3rd time. But then he's like, no, I'm gonna block you again. So the first time you play through this, you have to learn all of those, or he just keeps kecking you. Now this is, first of all, where the absolute bangers of the game start. So, and this is a really fun part. We get the coolest capture in all of the game, in my opinion. Now we're Bowser. So we're gonna cappy Bowser. And now we just get to absolutely obliterate whatever this area is. I think we're like inside the moon. If I remember right, like I think during the cutscene, a crater opens in the moon, and now like the moon is like being destroyed or something, and we're in the moon. Oh, I mistimed that. That's okay. You can technically get up there, but just go. We'll just go the long way. It's fine. So this is like the escape sequence, for lack of a better term. You'll see for the first time in the game gives you extra health here for some reason. You can get those pickups throughout the game if you're struggling. This is the first time we actually see throughout the game we were supposed to be doing these 2D platforming sequences. So this is the first one we actually get to see.
Yeah.
So this is what these look like.
That's silly. Just suddenly TV.
Yeah. Alright. So we're going to continue to just blast through this stuff. If I shake the motion controls here, he spits the fireballs. So that's what's going on here. Then there's this. Just let the thing hit me. It's whatever. Spit here. This could very well PB, we'll see. It's close. So. But yeah, this is the best song in the game, in my opinion. Like, I don't know why this random, like, rock song has been added to the game. So we're trying to, in this section, to hit these with as many fireballs as we can, so that when we get to them, we don't have to slice them as many times with our fists. We have to collapse 4 of these, and then the game will kind of end. So I will let you enjoy the music for a moment. So time is coming up when he shoots out of this thing here in about 2 or 3 seconds. So, and time. Whew. Not bad.
Was it a PB?
No, I was 21 seconds off, which could have
so
been 4 minutes in Metro Kingdom. I got 3 golds in that section. So I got a gold on Bowser and a gold on the end game. So those are really good. So now we can enjoy the climactic ending here. So I'll let this play through.
You know, I'm really glad Bowser's not kissing Princess. Just saying that.
So spoiler, her tiara was a hat the whole time. Oh, I think that's why the Cappy joins you, now that I think about it. I think Bowser stole his, like, wife as, like, a crown. Okay, I should remember the lore, but...
You know what? That might have been something to mention in, like, the first minute, but it came here an hour and 32 minutes, and it's fine.
This has just always been so cringy to me. This is the best ending, though. She's just like, screw both of you, I'm out of here. the weirdest ending to a game. And then she just takes off in the Odyssey and is like, yeah. Maybe she takes Mario. No, she doesn't even take Mario. Look at this. She leaves Mario and Bowser on the moon after you spend an hour and 30 minutes of your life trying to rescue her.
That's awesome.
Maybe he's gonna make it back. Okay, I guess technically maybe he gets on there, but she was literally trying to leave him. Like, what the hell? So yeah, that's Super Mario Odyssey.
Right on, man. That was extremely good showing.
And then we get to see all of the stuff we didn't do the whole game. Oh, so that's the waterfall I was talking about at the beginning. So the crazy strat for the beginning of the run, like you go up all those bones in that skull to get to the top. It's crazy. So we didn't really get to see, all of the desert is filled with these really, really cool, like kind of Day of the Dead style people. Like there's a lot of really cool art in this game that you completely skip. There's like a couple moons that you have to fish up with a Lakitu. There's just, the speedrun skips so much of the content. So if you're interested in the game, I strongly suggest like playing through it casually. It's a ton of fun. I think the movement is really cool. You know, the fact that I got a 132 and I played a lot of this game, and the like top tier runners are sub 1 hour, I mean, clearly shows that the movement is something that has a really high skill ceiling. So I think it's really fun to learn. But yeah, so that's that. And yeah, happy to field any questions here before we wrap up, or we can pass it back to y'all.
I think we're kind of on schedule, but I'll write it in the chat again. Guys, please go follow Miri. Miri is a really, really good person. I like him a lot.
I appreciate it. I hopefully we'll be streaming more this year. That is one of the things I like to do. It's last year I didn't have a lot of time to stream, so hopefully I'll be able to do some more runs.
No, really, really good guy. I do like them. We met a very long time ago. Actually, this is actually kind of a cool kind of like plot twist to weave everything together. The very first time I actually participated in like a marathon thing, I would have met you, because I had that involvement in like that weird pass the torch thing back then. Mm-hmm. So this is technically your first marathon appearance, so it's kind of nice that it's kind of like all strung together, right?
Yeah, the short version of that story is like, was recently, like it was right when I started using Twitch, like long before I ever even worked for Twitch. And I was just browsing random content, and maybe it was on the front page or something, I don't know. But I saw them. It was my first real introduction to speedrunning too, which I think is really funny. I saw them doing this. I was like, oh my god, this is like crazy. It's like speedrunning, that's a thing. And then that's kind of what got me into speedrunning in general. So I have Dave to thank for a lot of that. So also Dave is a wonderful person. So follow him too if you don't. Although if you're on here, you probably already do. But Dave is wonderful, and he's been a great friend for a very long time. And yeah, so thank you all very much, and I'll pass it back to you all. And best of luck with the rest of everything. I'm gonna go make my bonks donation, so I'll see ya.
Alright, well thank you very much, appreciate it. I guess you can take us back, so. Actually, wait. Or did we transition too quick? We're gonna switch restreamers. So while I'm still here, yeah. Okay, we're waiting? Okay, thanks. So yeah, we're gonna switch restreamers. So yeah, just refresh the page, because we'll come back with Contra. But welcome on in, everybody. And yeah, we'll go set up to do that real quick. So give us a second here.